older sibling yet at first glance appear to be the younger one? Are you an Esper? Were you created by the legend known as One? If you answered yes to one of these questions, you may be entitled to financial compensation, or you might just be Mob or Tatsumaki. Shigeo Kageyama from the Mob Psycho series versus Tatsumaki from One Punch Man. Both of these two will fight it out, but only one will win. Today we find out who wins. Today we rewind Rumble. Shigeo Kageyama. He was introduced in the very beginning as a middle schooler. You know, that strange place where kids turn into teenagers? But his powers were discovered at a much younger age. Shigeo is an Esper, which is a fancy term for someone that possesses psychic abilities. As a child, Mob was actually afraid of his psychic powers due to the harm they could cause on others. You could say that these powers psyched him out. No? No takers? Alright then. Moving along, Shigeo wished for someone to mentor him and help him understand his abilities. His wish was granted, but in a sort of scammy way because he gained a teacher in the form of Mr. Reagan himself, the quote-unquote GOAT when it comes to these types of things. Reagan claimed to be an Esper, and he took Mob in to work part-time at his exorcist business. But major spoiler alert, Reagan is not actually an Esper, and he only took Mob in to work with him so he could have someone to exorcise dangerous spirits. During his time working for Reagan, the Exorcist instilled the philosophy that Mob's psychic powers didn't make him any better than any other ordinary person. This philosophy has shaped Mob's perception of Espers more than anything else, and made it so that he won't use his psychic powers to do anything he can't do without them. He refuses to use them for anything besides self-defense and exorcising spirits for Reagan. Physically speaking, Mob might seem like a chump. He's pretty much Greg Heffley but with psychic abilities. Greg Heffley as in the guy who lost a wrestling match to a girl. But thanks to his abilities, his physical act can easily be disregarded. As an Esper, Mob can see dead people and can sense the psychic energy of any spirit or Esper within a 20-kilometer radius. This means no sneak attacks from the terrible tornado. Mob's most iconic ability is his power to move objects with his mind. For large examples, he can levitate entire city blocks, and on the small ends, he can tear down objects to the molecular level. He can also rebuild objects as if they were never destroyed. That's quite creative. He's also used telekinesis to create force fields to block attacks as a defensive tactic. As an exorcist, Mob can quasi-Hakai his targets. By simply touching a spirit, Mob can instantly exorcise it and send it back to the spiritual plane. Mob can drain psychic energy from spirits, Esperts, and the environment to boost his own power. Now, using this also absorbs some of the target's emotions, letting Mob feel the way they feel. However, he's only used this in his 100% emotion and triple question mark forms. So what are these 100% and triple question mark unknown forms? First and foremost, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think Mob is a sociopath. He just struggles to show emotions to protect others and control his power. Mob has sealed the bulk of his energy behind several emotional locks. When Mob starts to feel intense amounts of one emotion, symbolize the percent meter reaching 100%. The lock representing said emotion will explode, releasing Mob's full power. As for the triple question mark mode, this is a special state that Mob enters when he gets knocked unconscious. It is seemingly a power that exists separately from Mob's spirit since it survives when Mob's body is destroyed. When Mob is knocked unconscious, this mode takes control of his body, greatly enhancing his psychic powers far past their normal limits. As for experience and skill, while Mob is only 14, he's seen a lot and done a lot. He's been through countless dangerous missions, stopping the Claw Gang and doing things no 14-year-old should be doing. After joining the Body Improvement Club, he did see some noticeable physical improvement, though I wouldn't call him a world-renowned athlete without the help of his psychic abilities.
What is it, Warlord?
You know damn well I can't stand this chick. For a lolly hunter, she must be some dream. But for me, she's a damn nightmare. It's like you stick Childish, Tsundere, Lolly, and Hellspawn Demon into one, throw in a bottle of Irish whiskey, and then a grass stain found on the bottom of your cleats, and mix it all together in the brewery, and she'd be the creature that crawls out. No, she gets the half explanation.
But...
Listen to me before I throw you down a flight of stairs!
Okay, geez, no need to get so triggered. Tatsumaki, also known as the Tornado of Terror, is an S-Class Rank 2 superhero. Tatsumaki is one of the most powerful heroes in the entire Hero Association, and is treated as one of their ultimate weapons to be used as a last resort. Despite her young appearance, she is incredibly skilled and powerful. Her personality, on the other hand, can be incredibly childish, and she is fully willing to throw her power around to get her way, or simply when someone annoys her.
She annoys her, she annoys me.
Okay, maybe, but you say that about every lowly designed character.
They're all the same dead character!
You might be right, but chill. No need to get triggered. What even caused these Vietnam flashbacks for you?
It's who, and you know exactly who. Anyway, the boring stuff is out of the way. Let's get to this fight already. Too much hair versus no hair at all.
Exactly, we spent too much time reviewing these guys. Let's get ready for the battle.
And now, let's get ready for the fight. This battle will take place on Earth, and remember, there is no prep time. Let the battle begin!
Challenging my abilities as though we are equals is the worst mistake you can make. But after I put you down, you won't have to worry about making such a mistake again. Move! You're in the way!
Did you do this? That was rather irresponsible.
Well, a brat like you should learn your place. A little gratitude would be worthwhile.
Incompetence doesn't deserve gratitude.
So you're an Esper. No wonder you were so quick to run your mouth.
Ritzy, go.
A failure or two could be good for you. Let's do this, brat.
Ready? Rumble!
Your place, child.
Please.
Shut up! Unless it's begging, keep quiet!
I guess you're truly rotten inside.
That's more like it. That's it, huh? How bothersome. I'm done with you. There's something about this guy that I can't put my finger on.
No sleep till KO!
Hopefully you enjoyed that animation, and if you did, super special thanks to Team Animation Rewind's Jalen Bra. I'd also like to thank Katie Connie Day Johnson for being the voice of Tatsumaki, and Cyril Smith VA for the voice of Mob. I'd also like to thank Corin O'Keefe for the research/notes in the post-analysis. Thanks, and enjoy the post-analysis. So it looks like Mob burned himself out in the animation, but the animation isn't exactly a simulation, and to start off this post-analysis, let's start our argument with a logical fallacy, because that's what all smart debaters do, right?
What?
Now let me make this clear, this is an authority fallacy, and I am not actually using this as a reason why Tatsumaki beats Mob in a fight. I just wanted to showcase this information because I do think it's important to at least see the point of view of the creator of these characters, not in a sense that you need to use this as a proof, but in a sense to better understand the development of how they are written. The creator of both Mob and Tatsumaki, known as One, has stated that Tatsumaki is stronger than 100% Mob, but against triple question mark Mob, there's no answer. Now, if they were fighting with no prep, Mob is definitely not going to start at 100%, and so if Tatsumaki can beat Mob before he even reaches that percentage, she should win. The question is she fast enough to do so? And this is where we go into the actual statistical breakdown. As for speed, Tatsumaki is faster than Genos, who's been able to react to a light speed laser, giving him at least relativistic speeds in terms of reactions, and he is actually depicted as being a bit slower than Tatsumaki. Tatsumaki has also been depicted as being one of the fastest S-class heroes, which would make her at least roughly comparable to Flashy Flash, who has been stated to be FTL. Genos is also an S-class hero, so that's also important to know. With this information, Tatsumaki should at least be roughly baseline FTL. As for Mob speed, even while only using about 40%, Mob reacted to Suzuki, who was able to move faster than lightning. He should be reaching the relativistic ranges with 100%, and with his triple question mark, he should be around 10% the speed of light. He could be a little less, could be a little more, but to be safe, he should be around 10%, aka baseline relativistic. I mean, heck, Mob's attacks were so fast that Toichiro had trouble reacting and dodging while Mob was going all out. It is hard to consistently say that Mob can go anywhere near FTL. He's going to get speed blitzed, but one could argue that through hacks, he could drain Tatsumaki, negating speed altogether. So let's go over that. Mob could potentially absorb the psychic power of Tatsumaki, however this is going to be very difficult to do considering the power and speed gap between them. Plus, Tatsumaki could potentially bind the psychic powers of Mob with her psychic binding tactic that would make it so where Mob could not even use any of his psychic abilities or powers. So they both do have potential ways that they could easily take out the other if given the right opportunity, such as Mob being able to absorb her psychic power and Tatsumaki being able to actually bind the psychic power of Mob, making it to where he won't be able to use his powers throughout the rest of the fight. It depends on who manages to actually pull one of them off first. Tatsumaki having the speed advantage does give her a better chance of being able to use her abilities first and more effectively. She will be able to land more attacks, and she can overpower him from the start before he even has a chance to upgrade. Tatsumaki also has her own psychic resistances. As for durability and her overall defense tactics, Tatsumaki is capable of the Psychic Whirlwind, a technique that allows her to nullify stronger psychic waves, as well as use it to attack. Also, her shield/barriers should be around the same level of her attack power when she's using her powers, so her shields and barriers should be able to withstand as much force as they can output. However, her own physical body durability does not scale to this, and her own body is not as durable. Plus, she basically has these shields and barriers up at all times. However, while attacking her opponent, her shields can become much weaker. Tatsumaki should take this victory more often than not. Yes, Mob, even after death, can technically still be around, but when do we draw the line in the sand and say one is the better fighter than the other? Tatsumaki is faster thanks to having better speed scaling. She should actually be more powerful, if not much more powerful. She has better feats like stopping all of those shells and being able to hold her own against an awakened Garu for a decent period of time. While she herself was drained, yeah, you could argue Mob has resistances and could counter Tatsumaki and her abilities. However, he does have resistance to some of her abilities. He himself hasn't necessarily demonstrated that he has resistances on her actual level. It's hard to assume he would be able to completely resist all of her abilities just because he has shown resistance to these types of abilities before, even though he hasn't resisted abilities that are comparable to the same level as Tatsumaki and her abilities. So he might be able to somewhat resist them at first, but there's nothing that suggests he would be completely immune to them, and she should be able to just overpower him easily. Plus, he won't even have a chance to try resisting things because he would get completely speed blitzed. Sure, Mob can be seen as having around baseline relativistic speeds, but Tatsumaki has baseline FTL speeds. Mob hasn't done anything near the speed of light himself, definitely not consistently, while Tatsumaki can be seen as being faster than light. And if this battle is starting off with Mob in his normal state, then he really may not even have a chance to reach his 100% or triple question mark states, as he would get completely overwhelmed before reaching those levels. Starting him off at those levels would help him out definitely, but he would still get speed blitzed, making the winner of this Rumble Tatsumaki.
On the next episode of Rewind Rumble.